Let's take a look at so-called two-way prepositions. What are they and how do we use them in German language? But before we go to two-way prepositions, let's us review accusative prepositions and dative prepositions, prepositions which require specific case object. Let's imagine the first situation. We have a very nice couple, and our sentence says, Ralf kauft einen Kaffee für seine Freundin. Look, I highlighted already preposition für using red color, and we know for sure, we know for 100% that the object after this preposition, seine Freundin, is used in the accusative case. How do we know this? Because we remember the rule that für, preposition für, is one of such called accusative prepositions. Any object which will be used after this preposition must be used in the accusative case. Another situation, let's say Sarah spielt mit ihrem Freund Tennis. In this sentence, I highlighted red preposition mit, and we are 100% sure that the word Freund, the object, is used in the dative case. How do we know this? Because we remember that mit is one of the such called dative prepositions. That means any objects we will use with mit must be used in the dative case. Sorry, dative case. So as you see, there are prepositions which are used only with the accusative case. Prepositions as für, for example, durch, ohne. So you may remember them. And there are prepositions which require only the dative case. Some like preposition like zu, mit, by. So you may remember them as well, or you can review them. Okay, but now let's look at some prepositions which may be used with the accusative object or with the dative object. What kind of prepositions do we have in mind? Such prepositions as an, that means at or on, and here we talk about an object which is on vertical surface. You see, our object is this kind of yellow circle, an. Auf means on the horizontal surface. Hinter, hinter means behind another object. In, obviously the same like in English, it's inside, inter object. Neben, neben means next to, close to another object. Über, über means above, over, specific surface or object. Unter means under. Vor means in front of. And zwischen is between two different objects. So as you see, we may use these prepositions when we describe location, position of different elements, different things. Like what, for example, if you look around in your room right now, you see a lot of different objects. Something is in your desk, something is in your shelf, and you can describe positions of these objects by using these prepositions. Okay, let's keep it in mind that the reason we may use them is just to describe anything we see. So how it works with that preposition. Imagine the situation, we have an apple on the desk. So, and our sentence will say, Der Apfel ist auf blank Tisch. Okay, the sentence is not complete because we have to analyze something. As you see, what is now red highlighted red is our preposition auf. You remember I showed you before prepositions, you remember that auf represents object on the horizontal surface, which is obviously the fact right now. Our apple is on the horizontal surface of our table. Okay, so now we have just to complete the sentence by using correct definite article with noun Tisch. Tisch is our prepositional object, and we will think in this way. Our apple is right now on the desk, on the table. That means there is only one point which is connected, which is in connection between an apple and the table. We call it point A. We do not have any movement. We do not change the location of this object of our apple. We do not touch our apple. What we just describe the situation, what we see right now. The situation is absolutely static. And in this case, because the situation is static and we just describe the position of things, we use the dative case. So dative case because we have only one point A, and because we use the dative is modified by definite article dem for masculine nouns, so we use dem. Now our sentence is complete. Der Apfel ist auf dem Tisch. Okay, let's change the situation. Again, we imagine we have a table, and I would like to put my apple on this table. So this is my apple, but it is not on the table. I have to move it. Look, I have to move it to be able to put it on the table. So we create another sentence. I would say, ich lege den Apfel. Legen means I put my apple. No? Ich lege den Apfel. Then I have to use the same preposition auf, because we still talk about an object on the horizontal surface. Again, Tisch. What is the case now of our prepositional object? Here we have to understand this situation. Look, first we had apple above the dish, and this was point A. And then I moved my apple to the table, and this will be my point B. So as you see, there is some kind of movement from point A to point B. The situation is not static. And because of that, because of this movement, because of this change of location of our object, we have to use the accusative case. Accusative case for masculine nouns is modified by definite article den. So we put den in our sentence, and now we have our sentence completed. Ich lege den Apfel auf den Tisch. So as you see, we use the same preposition auf in two different situations. One situation was when we just described the position of apple, and you remember that we use the dative object, dem Tisch. And the second situation, what you see right now, we describe this movement, and we use Tisch in the accusative case because of this movement. So we used auf den Tisch. So we always have to consider these two questions, wohin and wo. Wohin in English means where to. Wo in English means where or where at, where in. So the first question, wohin, represents this movement, represent this change of location from point A to point B. As long as you see this question word in a sentence, we ask about the movement. Where are you going to? Wohin gehst du? Wo represents the static situation. Wo represents the dative case, only one point. A. Let's create the question. Wohin gehst du? Where are you going to? And again, we think about movement. So you go from point A to point B, and you will answer, let's say, ich gehe ins Kino. So you describe your situation. So you been in specific point A, and then you move to movie theater from A to B. So when we ask questions with wo, we may ask something like, wo ist die Oma? And in this case, we ask for location, for specific point on the map. So where is our grandma? And our answer may be, sie ist im Garten. So she's in garden. No, you can imagine. So there is specific place, specific area, and she's inside. So she is only in one point. When we compare our answers, we do understand that Kino in first answer is used in the accusative case, and Garten in the second sentence, the second answer is used in the dative case because of different question words. Now, let's review it once again. Let's say Peter goes, Peter geht. So we have the verb, which definitely gives us idea. We talk about movement, to go, to change location. So when we complete the sentence, we have to understand that we use this from point A to point B situation, movement. We say Peter geht ins Restaurant. So here we use ins, which is in plus das, and you obviously can see that restaurant is used in the accusative case. This is an accusative situation of changing of location. When our Peter is already sitting in restaurant, waiting for his order, we may say Peter sits. Now, sitzt is the verb which tells us there is no movement. There is only one position, A. And in this case, we complete our sentence saying Peter sitzt im Restaurant. So as you see, we changed our preposition. We use the same noun, but now our preposition is im, which means in plus dem. So obviously we use the dative case. We always have to keep look at these question words. Wo oder wohin or woher. So in this case, the question is wo wanderst du gern? Here is a little bit confusing situation because look, we use the dative question word, interrogative pronoun wo, which represents the location, and then we use a verb which actually represent the movement. Wandern, hiking. So when you hike, when you go for a walk, you move. So how can we answer this question? We still have to rely on our question word. So you remember that question wherein, where at, asks about location. We can imagine that we have some kind of area, park, and we may walk, we may hike, we may walk inside of this park, but we do not change our location. We're still in the same spot, in the same area. So our answer in this case will be the dative, will include the dative object. Ich wandere gern im Park. I like to walk, I like to hike in a park. And park is obviously used as a dative object.